That's fine. Let's just chat, Rye. You want to start by just kind of framing what you got for me and how I can help you?
I started an SEO service for lawyers, targeting lawyers,
Okay.
niching down to lawyers.
Yep.
I've been doing cold outreach and just sending cold emails, and yeah, that's what I've been doing mostly for this past it's January, February. About I started in around January, so yeah,
Okay. So you're speaking specifically about outbound sales.
getting clients. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So you've been sending cold emails, you said? Do you have one of the
yeah. I've been sending cold emails. Sorry.
can you like do you have one of the emails offhand that you could read to me?
Yeah, so it's basically it goes like I was doing some research and then I encountered a site and I noticed a few issues on your site which when fixed can help improve your site SEO, and I I offer them to do a free audit for them, and and if they want just say yes and that's it.
Okay. So who are you targeting with these emails? Like how are you finding these people?
Mm, through Google AdWords, those people who are doing marketing with Google Ads.
Okay, so you're just basically finding are they local? I mean, give me a little bit more here. Are you just
They're not local.
they're all local? Okay.
I've been just searching cities like no, they're not local.
They're not local.
Yeah, they're not local.
And
I've
where
been just searching like cities,
where are you where are you looking?
immigration lawyers,
Okay.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. And you're going after like attorneys. Is that like do you have a specific niche or are you just kind of like spraying all over the place?
Just spraying all over
Okay.
the place.
All right. So I'm gonna just kind of like rattle off what I think you should do and some tips for you. So number one,
Yeah, okay.
and I know you mentioned too in the questionnaire that you were looking, like you were thinking about taking on some stuff for free to build case studies, correct?
I'm currently talking with one lawyer right now, and I I'm I think next week I'll start the free work for him.
Okay. So I would recommend that you don't start with attorneys for a number of reasons. Number one, I know that they're like a great niche because they have budgets, but attorneys are not good clients for the most part. And I like attorneys. I'm not talking shit. They're just not great clients, especially when you're first getting started because they tend to only care. They don't care about the process. They only care about the rankings, which is fine. That's not a bad thing. Um, but it's not a great way to get started because you don't have the resources. You don't have the team. It's all on your back, and it's just going to stress you out. It's not a way that you want to go. So number one is I do support the niche, but like I would pick a different niche from attorneys. I would get into attorneys after you've built a client list after, because like also closing attorneys is problematic because what they're always asking for references. They want to see other attorneys that you work with. Like attorneys are just a
Yeah,
pain in the
yeah,
ass. Attorneys, plastic surgeons, like all that stuff. I know it's very sexy because again, they're that they have a budget, but they are not great clients to get started with. Okay, so that's the first piece of advice. But going back, yes, definitely. Like I think that you should go out and get one case study. All you need is one. You need one case study that you can then take and market. So pick a niche that you want to work in. I would probably go like how much do you charge a month? Like if you were going to charge for SEO per month, how much would you charge?
750 at least.
750. Okay, so that's on the low end, right? So you could work with
Yeah.
um, pretty much anyone, right? I mean, that's pretty much anyone's starting SEO budget. So I would go out and I would do a case study, that you can crush. So like if you like to do local SEO, find a coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? Find something that's pretty simple, that you can do it for free. Number one, when you're going to do it for free, you don't want to do it for an attorney because you're going to spend a lot of, like, ranking an attorney website is time consuming. It's a long process, and it's very expensive. Like, attorneys need a lot of links, and those links are not free. You're either going to spend a lot of time trying to get those links, or you're going to spend a lot of money paying for those links, paying for the content, for guest posts, all that stuff. Whereas somebody like a coffee shop, somebody like a gym is another good one. Like CrossFit gyms are really good, because they don't need that many links, and they don't need nearly as much effort to rank. And you can take that and you can stamp your name on it, and make that like a branded case study for CrossFit gyms, right? Like, definitely niche down, find something in that space, or in the local space, something that you know you can get results for quick, cheap, and that you can do for free. Take that, get them results, document the whole thing, and make that into a really good case study. That case study should, do you have a website?
Yeah.
Yep. So I would, if for the,
So that is,
you do have a website. So I would take for the
yeah,
short,
yeah.
for the short term, while you're just getting started, I would just literally keep the website simple. I would make your homepage just targeting, like, let's just say, for example, you decide to go with CrossFit gyms because there's a million of them. They have trouble marketing, and they can spend between 500 and 1,000 a month for SEO if you're going to get them results, right? I would literally make your homepage targeting SEO for CrossFit gyms. That's it. And all throughout that homepage, you're gonna just beat that case study over and over. You're gonna talk about your process. You're gonna talk about how you have specific experience working with CrossFit gyms. You're like literally speaking just to them, right? And you're gonna do that until you build up a client list of like 10 to 15 to 20 different CrossFit gyms, right? And then you can start to pivot and broaden out. Then you can become more of an end-to-end SEO agency. You can go after other spaces. You can go after gyms. But definitely, if you're just getting started, pick a niche of a niche, something that's not that competitive, something that is easy to target too. So like, now that you have a website done with that case study, which you've done for free or you've gotten paid for, either way, just get that case study, get that proof. You've then built kind of that, reputation in the space. You can then take that, and then you can go to other CrossFit gyms, and then that outreach email becomes a lot easier. Then it's easy to prospect for them, right? You're not just going off and prospecting for attorneys and plastic surgeons and gyms and all these different things. No, you're just looking for CrossFit gyms, and that's a lot easier to prospect for, right? Because there's actually probably even databases online. You can just go and you can just get a VA that's just going to literally go and build a database contact for URL, location, I don't know, like their GMB page, whatever. And their email and their phone number, right? And once you have that list in the database, then you can start to contact them and send them the right pitch. So the pitch that I would send them, instead of like, hey, let me run a free audit, go through those, take the time, and find 1 to 2 to 3 issues with their existing campaigns, right? So for example, let's say you've got a list now, you hired a VA, you've got a case study, you've got a list of 1,000 different CrossFit gyms across the country, right? Then what you can do is you can go through one by one, and you can just build like a little process. You can do it yourself. You can use a VA. We actually do this at the agency, and I'm building this into our sales module to show you how to find these issues. But go through and find 1 to 3 issues in what I call opportunities for improvement, right? So for example, if you just build a little process to audit GMB pages, right? Where you just click on their GMB page, you can even record a little screenshot, whatever. Just find 1 to 3 things. Like, you don't have enough reviews. Here's a few tips to get reviews, right? Like, make sure you're soliciting your CrossFit, your people in your gym every day to leave a review for you on Google, right? You don't have enough custom images on your thing, whatever it is that you can find, and just opportunities for them to grow. Just literally do that. Take 20 minutes for each of those. Again, you can get a VA to do it to help you out, to just build like even just a little like Google Slides deck that has 3 slides. Number 1 is, hey, my name is Rye, an introduction. Like and if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize. My name is Rye. I work specifically with CrossFit gyms to help them improve their organic rankings and drive more leads and get more customers. Here's a case study that we just did. This is for Blueprint CrossFit. We help drive 200 more box members by ranking them first for X, Y, and Z keywords. Some screenshots. Oh, by the way, like, I would really love the time to talk to you. I found 3 opportunities for improvement for your gym that you can do for yourself right now. Number 1, get more reviews on your page. Here's how I would do it. Like I said, going to your CrossFit Gym members and leaving them. Why should you do that? Because Google looks at positive reviews as a huge ranking factor. If you can get some positive reviews, you're going to rank higher for local searches. You should also be creating custom content for your GMB page. Do that every month. Take pictures, take videos, and just make sure you're keeping that updated, right? You can also be like blogging on that. You know what I'm saying? So just give them like a couple of opportunities and then send that to them. And that's it. Just be like, hey, look, I took the time to put this together for you. That's all I want. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, if they read it and consume that, then they're going to want to have a consult anyways. But then you can start to follow up with them afterwards and say, like, hey, Steve, I saw that you checked out my deck. Did you have any questions? Like, let's schedule a time to chat about it. You see what I'm saying? So like that process is just a lot more seamless. Number one is that you're not going after random people. You're not sending them a random pitch because, as you probably know, I mean, God, dude, I can't tell you how many like pitches I get from random SEO agencies for me all the time, who just didn't do any like didn't take 5 minutes to look at who I was. They're just spraying and praying, right? It's not an effective way to do things. Not only is it not successful, but you're burning your brand in the market, right? It's just not the right way to do it. But if you have a niche, if you specialize in that niche, if you have proven results in that niche, and you've gone out of your way to find issues and opportunities for that prospective client and how you can help them, you're going to get a lot more responses, right? Like that is how you do cold outreach. It's you take a little bit more time up front to build the right strategy, the right process, the right targeting, and your response rates are going to be much, much higher. And this stuff works. And I know this stuff works because like David Krevitt, my partner in the Blueprint, I know him because he hit me with a cold outreach a couple years ago. And he did just that. He took his time. He made a list of SEO agencies. He made a list of people who had good reach in the SEO industry. And he sent emails saying, hey, look, I hacked together like a little tool for you that helps with SEO. You can check it out here. Here's a quick video to show you how to run it. If you have any questions, just let me know and we can jump on a call and I can help you out. And now we're business partners, so like these things do work, but you have to take the time to do the work up front. Otherwise, you're just going to fall flat in your face. And then once you have that, then you've got a process to generate clients. You've also got an operational system on the back end to deliver that, right? If you're only working with CrossFit gyms, you've got link sources that you know is going to work. You've got content writers who know how to write for CrossFit gyms. Maybe you've got a web designer, like a UX guy that can come in and like help them with their website, stuff like that. You've got a developer. So you're building a team of experts for that specific niche. And then once you get to a certain point where you've got 20, 40, 50 of those clients, you can either keep running the business like that or you can make a pivot, right? And you can start working with gyms and something a little bit bigger. So that's what I would do. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions on that?
Yeah. So do you suggest I just stray away from the lawyer's niche, I guess?
Absolutely. I don't even like working with lawyers, man. Like attorneys are awesome, like I said, because they're going to pay you like between $3,000 and $10,000 a month. Some attorneys pay, like we have one attorney client at the agency. We only have one, but they're actually our biggest client. And we work with some really big clients. They spend a lot of money with us because attorneys make a lot of money and they're willing to invest in it too. But like they're a little bit more difficult to manage because they're only looking at phone calls as a KPI. They don't understand the value of like the keyword research that we're doing. They just don't care. Right. And that's fine. A lot of clients are going to be like that. CrossFit gyms are too, because they're small businesses, but like, it's going to be much easier for you to get those ranks for a CrossFit gym than an attorney, because an attorney is going up in like probably one of the most competitive spaces for local SEO. And it's really hard to get results. But with, again, a CrossFit gym, and this is where SEO is really a great business model, because like kind of once you get them ranked, you're basically just collecting checks in perpetuity, and you're just maybe doing some content for them, having like a quarterly strategy call, sending them reports. You're a lot more profitable on that work. Whereas with an attorney, it's a constant grind to keep them ranked. It takes a lot longer. You're under a lot more stress from that client. So like all in all, working with less competitive niches is going to be less stress for you. It's also going to be a lot more profitable because you have to do a lot less work for it. So.
So when sending out the emails, so do you basically just do the audit in the first email or after you hear a reply from them?
You can test either way. If you're just getting started, if like you have more time now, to do the audit, I would say do the audit for every pitch. And it doesn't have to be like a full audit, like I said. I mean, just little things. And a lot of them can be templatized too, because a lot of CrossFit gyms are going to have the same issues, like what I would do. And again, we're getting ready to relaunch this sales module. So I promise you it's coming. And I'll show you. So at the agency, we do what's called a top 10, where we will look for the top 10 issues and opportunities that we can come in and fix right away under contract, right? And those things they're templated. We'll run like a crawl of the website. We'll find some technical issues. We'll look at their blog to try and find some content opportunities. We'll look at competitors to see what they're doing, to see other opportunities. And we'll look at like their link profile. Generally within that, we can find 10 issues that we can then begin the contract talks, right? It's even easier for a small business, like a CrossFit gym. If you can just come in, find a few things that are specific to them, but are also industry, like just kind of trends, it's going to save you a lot more time. So again, like what I would do is build out like a Google Slides template deck. The first slide, it can have just who you are, what you do, and what you've done for CrossFit gyms in the past, right? And then the second slide, it can be like a specific case study that shows like a screenshot of like keyword rankings or a screenshot of like traffic increases. And then like if you could get it, like a testimonial from that gym owner, right, on that slide. That right there shows them like, okay, like he knows what he's doing. And then the third slide in there would just be, here's 3 things that you can do right now that's going to improve your marketing. That's it. Like filling that out, the first 2 slides are templated. The third slide is going to be templated too, that you can just spin through personalization. So if you've got that done, then you've got a scalable way to do like customize those audits that you're talking about. And then you can save that like bigger audit for the proposal. You know what I mean? So like once you get, like you have to do that work up front to get their attention. Hopefully get them on the phone call. If you don't want to do a phone call, just basically say, look at, we found these issues and opportunities. Like if you request a proposal, we'll do a full audit and find all the issues and then show you exactly how we can help, So I would say that full audit for after they've gone through and like kind of requested that full audit in the proposal.
Okay.
So just off the back of this.
In the sales module,
go ahead.
Yeah, in the sales module, will your sales recording be there also, as you mentioned it before?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? It's loud in my office. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, in the sales module, I'm not sure when, but I think I heard you mention you also show us your sales live call.
Oh yeah. I will be going through that too. I'm actually going to start recording like some of my sales calls now. So you can see kind of like, so basically what I have is a framework that I ask. So like the way and you should also develop this too. What I just told you is kind of like a basic sales process. You should document your own sales process. So how am I going to get clients in the door? Once they become like a lead, what is that process? So for me, I'm doing marketing all over the place, YouTube, Facebook, blogging, all this stuff. They have to go through a contact form on my website. Once they do that, they have to fill out a questionnaire. That questionnaire, just has some basic questions like, tell me about your business. What have you done for marketing? What are you looking for out of an agency, right? Once I have that, then they get a link to schedule a phone call with me. On that phone call, basically I'll just, for 5 minutes ahead of time, I will look at their questionnaire. I will figure out and I'll open Ahrefs, I'll open Deep Crawl, I'll kind of dump their information in there. I'll have that open. And then during our phone call, I'll be looking at that, but I'll also be asking them a specific set of questions, right? The goal for me during that part is, number one, is to dig into to what their needs are and if there's a good opportunity for us. Number two is to dig into how much they can spend on marketing to see if they're a good fit for the agency. Number three is to see if they're a good culture fit for the agency. Is this somebody that I even want to work with? And number four is to just get them talking, right? To ask them questions, to build trust, to build a relationship. And the easiest way to do that is just by asking like leading questions. So things like, tell me about what you've done for marketing to date. They go on, I'm listening, I'm taking notes, I have Ahrefs open, and I'm kind of verifying these things, and I'm just constantly asking follow-up questions during it, right? So for example, if I say, what have you done for marketing to date? And they say, well, we hired an SEO agency, they did link building. I'll go to the Ahrefs link report, I'll check their links, and I'll say, hey, look at, like, you have a lot of toxic links here. Like, this link building agency lied to you, they did a bad job. you really need to get these disavowed. I'm also making a note of that because then what? Then when I send the proposal, if they ask for one, I've got that in there as a line item for something that we can do for them, like a link disavow. So I'm going to show you how I do that live. I'm going to be recording a lot of sales calls, and I'm going to be giving you kind of like my sales script too, but it's mainly just asking them questions, letting them tell me what they need. And then, just kind of like reacting off the back of it, adding in more things to more insights. And then again, too, like I use the blueprint framework to sell. So the 5 phases of a blueprint campaign that you guys are all now intimately aware of, I use that as a major selling point. So I'm actually running them through that framework. That's part of my pitch, is that we have a framework. We've worked with sites like this in the past. We have a process to basically manage your website from start to finish. So I'll kind of like that's kind of a big part of like my actual pitch. So after I ask them the questions, I'll go through and I will hammer away with kind of my pitch just to close them hard. And then after that, I will decide internally in my head, well, even before that, if they're a good fit. So if I want to work with them and if I want to do a proposal for them, then I'll always close the call out by saying, do you have any more questions for me? Anything else you want to cover? No? Okay, great. So the next steps are, you need to request a proposal from me. We'll take the next 3 days. We'll do an audit and we'll send it to you. But I'll always kind of at that point too, make sure that they know that our proposals take a lot of work and that this is not free work, that there needs to be a verbal commitment from them that if I'm going to take my personal time to work on this proposal, then they better answer me and they better take it seriously. And because that's important, because a lot of times people just want to kick the tires, and they'll just waste a lot of your time. So that's kind of my sales process. Then I go into the proposal building process. I'll do an audit. I'll put together a proposal, send it to them. They either accept or decline. Then if they accept, they'll get a contract from our contract team. And then after they sign the contract, then they go into the client onboarding phase, which is all in the blueprint. So again, I'm going to be detailing that in my sales process for you guys. I'm going to be showing you every step of the way too, from even how I generate leads and how you can do cold outreach a lot better, to how do I handle that lead on the phone? What are the questions I ask them? And then pushing into how do I take that and build that into a proposal that they're actually going to want to look at, and it's going to have a high close rate. So Salman asked,
okay.
Salman, sorry, right, real quick. Salman asked, what would be some realistic conversion close ratio, generally speaking? Generally speaking, I don't know. If you're just doing cold outreach, it's going to be low. I say, so we use a platform called Growbots, which I'm going to be detailing again in the sales module. Growbots will do the prospecting for me. I'll basically give it a list of keywords like, I want to work with marketing managers in Miami. It will pull that back for me. It will give me their email address, and then I'll actually run the email through there. Generally speaking, for cold outreach, it's about a 2% response rate, which is low. But if you're doing this at scale, and you're targeting the right people, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? If you send 100 emails and you get 2 responses back to have a phone call, that's 2 leads. That's pretty good. So it's a numbers game still. A lot of times too is that like you just have to catch people at the right time. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to do cold outreach, which I recommend, you know what I mean? Like when I first started, I did cold outreach. Then I was off of cold outreach for a while and I just relied on inbound leads. But now at our agency we're getting a lot back into cold outreach because inbound can only get you so far. Inbound leads, basically you don't get to choose who you work with. They choose you. But if you're doing outbound, like I said, Ra, you can go out and you can target the right people that you want to work with, which saves you a lot of headaches and time on the back end. And you know that they're qualified ahead of time because you did the research and you went out and you found them. So do you have any more questions, Ra, while you got me?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, dope. All right. Well,